Welcome to a Skewed Chimp. At the end of September, there was a pine tree, a red pine tree, and it was probably between 70 and 80 feet tall, at least, ballpark. And it had caught some kind of insect inside of it that killed it, or was in the process of killing it. And so this tree had to be taken down. And of course, as it got taken down, I wanted to A, watch, and B, get some free practice loot. Now, I've been warned off of pine in the past because I don't know why, but all the wood turners I've ever known have said that pine is not a good thing to turn, but it's okay to practice on. So I went ahead and I was going to grab some logs just 'cause. And so I did. In the end, I wound up with 7 pieces of wood, which is probably more than I need. The largest of these pieces is 36 inches long and 10 inches around, which will fit on my lathe just fine. And the smallest is 20 inches long and 8 inches around, which will give me, that will also fit on my lathe just fine. So, no, I got some good pieces. So not bad. I can actually work with these. I can work with these pretty easily. Now, one of the interesting things about this is because it was... However, whatever it was that killed it, did it while it was still standing up. So it died very slowly, and it's not entirely dry, but it's pretty dry. So I'm hoping that results in less cracking, and maybe that'll be better for me. I have not personally witnessed a lot of people turning pine, and I'm not sure why that is. I know that it's sticky and it gets all over your tools, but frankly, I don't mind that. I'm okay with that. I've got a bucket of turpentine, and doesn't bother me. So I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe this will be as bad of an idea as the aspen. But let me get a piece cut out, and we'll get started. I think if you watched my other videos, you know I don't yet have a bandsaw, and I've got this giant nub here. And I got to either take it off with a chainsaw or a handsaw. Those are my options. Here's the challenge, because I don't have vise or clamps that are big enough to hold this really, and I don't have a bandsaw, and I don't have another person present right now, so I looked around for some other stuff, like maybe some toe straps or something that I could use to clamp this down onto my router table at least. But I don't have any toe straps, and I looked in case maybe I had just not realized I had some, but I don't. So we're doing it this way. Go for it, man. What could possibly go wrong? We'll speed this up 3 times just so you don't get bored, but surprisingly, absolutely nothing did go wrong. This is exceedingly dangerous, and just a really, really bad idea overall. I have had quite a bit of practice working with the chainsaw, however, so maybe that factored in. 8x speed on this clip, by the way, because it went kind of slow. Well, the whole point of turning that around was so that I could catch the piece that was falling off instead of it just dropping. But in any case, mission accomplished. You're a little weird, dude. A little weird. Okay, first I want to give a little shout out to this Little Works electric chainsaw. Now, it's not the world's most expensive thing, but I'll tell you, it has done a forest's worth of work for its cost. It's actually gone through 2 60-foot cherry trees. I mean, everything that I've done in here, I've done with this chainsaw, and it's been a great little saw, and it's light, and you can use it easily, and it works for most things. And anyway, I like it. So it's a good little chainsaw for whatever that's worth. And for the record, I don't have any sponsors. Nobody cares enough about what I say to care about that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you that I don't remember exactly how much I paid for this, but I do remember being really impressed that it was as good of a tool as it is for what I paid for it. $75, according to the spreadsheet. We got a nice clean edge off of this in that last cut, and I'm actually pretty pleased with that, especially given that I didn't have a way to brace it or anything. And it is moist inside. I can feel it. So it's not quite as dead as I had, I don't know, been led to believe or hoped. Either one of those is true. But that's okay. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to mount it, and I think I'm going to put the faceplate on this side rather than, this is the uneven side. So I'll square this up as the end. That'll be where I put the mortise when I eventually reverse it as I try to turn this. I cut this yesterday, and I've let it sit kind of overnight. And you can see here that I've got a little crack that formed in it, so it's not entirely dry. But it's also not doing too bad considering this garage probably got pretty hot overnight. It's been warm here all of a sudden. So, I don't know, it's pine, which most people don't turn anyway. But I'll play with it and we'll see what happens. So to mount this, I'm going to use some number 7 2-inch screws. Just general purpose screws. I've got 4 of them here to match the 3-inch faceplate. And I'll be using a 7/64" drill bit to do the pilot holes. I'm going to speed this up 5 times normal speed because I put in one pilot hole, and then I moved the faceplate and then put in the other 3. And of course, then when I went to go place the screws in, it didn't all fit. So I actually had to do this twice, and this particular portion is just a failure clip. I'm going to use a Phillips 2 bit on this. And so you can even see the part where it slowly dawns on me that I have misaligned these pilot holes. You're not going to force it in, dude. It doesn't fit. Wait for it. Wait for it. I'm going to start completely over. I was eventually able to get it mounted correctly, but I did want to show you guys one of the newbie mistakes. Moving the faceplate around when you're trying to mount it is not going to result in the outcome you desire. I really didn't think I got this centered very well, but then as I give it the test turns, it's actually pretty darn centered well. So that was probably good fortune more than good planning, but you know, I'm happy that something went my way so far. Whoa! There was quite a bit of vibration there. I don't know. I moved the lathe around, so it may not be balanced right. I'll need to work on this. Holy crap. Okay, so I'm supposed to be turning this at between 1020 and 1440, but because it's so imbalanced, I've got it set down to a lower speed for so we're at 684. And so I set out to rough it, and it actually went pretty well. I didn't have any major catches, and nothing else went wrong. It was really therapeutic. But I also still move pretty slowly, so I will speed this up for you and just show you kind of the steps along the way. That's fun. Wow, okay, so we're starting to get to the bark. I guess I need to be a little bit more aggressive. Not bad. That's getting there. Sure smells pretty in here. Not too much further, but you can see there's a lot of cracking in here. I think you guys can see that. There's a pretty good crack right there. Among other places. So this might just be practice wood. I may not make it very far. We'll see how it does when I get ready to do the tenon. It feels to me like I can feel the difference between when the bark is gone. You know, it starts to feel a lot different as you get that off of there. And of course, the way that this feels as you're going along, as you get it smoother and smoother, the feeling changes. And honestly, it was so therapeutic, so mesmerizing that I guess it's satisfying to me. I like watching this stuff. I wish I could do it in real time for you. I wish I was faster so that you can watch it too. All right, there we go. I'm going to take a little break. Holy crap. This is going really well. This wood is, get out of there. This wood is definitely still wet. Like, I can feel it. And there are more cracks underneath here than I thought. But I think this is going to be, I mean, I'll play with it and we'll see how far we get. And then if it gets destroyed, then I'll just use it to practice to practice roughing and stuff. Because I need to practice that stuff anyway. But for right now, we're looking good. We got all the bark off. Good, good. I also don't know how well you could hear me with my face shield on. I forgot it was on. So, there we go. We'll see. So my next step was to try to square up and flatten out the bottom, what will eventually be the bottom, so that I can cut a mortise into it. One of the things that I forgot to do, though, was turn the lathe speed back up after I was done roughing it. So it's going a lot slower than it probably ought to be going, and I think that that accounts for some of the difficulty that I had when I was trying to part it. I don't know, I might experiment later and see if that was really the issue, and if so, I'll circle back around. But it certainly was a difficult task, comparative to things like the walnut, which was really easy to part off. Okay, so I let this sit here overnight, and this is what I came back to this morning. It's not even very hot. It's been like, 50s at night at the most. And again, my garage is not insulated or heated or anything. So it's been relatively cool, but this was obviously not completely dry wood. You can see a few cracks here. I don't know if that's going to show up very well on camera, but here's the there. So that shattered, and that's a problem. And then I wanted to show you guys this as well, if I can get in here without totally messing up your brains. This, nice, Georgie. This, this was done with the parting tool, and it went in pretty straight. And it should have resulted in a nice smooth finish, or a nice smooth cut, because I assure you, my parting tool is sharp. But it didn't. It has these little pocks in here, and it's because pine has very large fibers, and also it's not very strong, so it's not holding the fibers in place, and they're kind of falling out as the parting tool runs into it. It's like knocking it out instead of cutting across, and it's making it kind of fall out like this rather than be cut, even when I'm coming in at the correct angles, which I'm probably not always doing, but I mean, I didn't do it this bad. Also, that's probably why they say that pine is not good for turning. I'm going to guess that this is going to be just scrap practice wood. And I have heard people say that pine is not good for turning, but I never heard them say why. So I guess that's what I'm finding out is now this crack, the giant crack that's on it over here that you guys can no longer see because I moved the thing. This gargantuan crack is not the result of it being pine. That's just the result of it cracking and me not getting it dry before I started working on it. But this is definitely the result of it being pine, the large fibers. So I'll try to work on the back and see if I can get to where I can put a mortise in it, but I'm really skeptical. I'm really doing it just to satisfy my own curiosity at this point. So I'll play with this some more, but that's all I have time for right now in this video anyway. But I'll get back to you and let you know how the rest of it goes. I think I might still try to put a mortise on the end because I think that it might be interesting to see and just to practice my skills a little bit. So I'll give that a go. Until then, thanks for being here.